Okay. All right, so let's get started. So we're going to come to lie down to start off with in quite a relaxed position. So you probably won't need anything here unless you want to put a blanket. If you do want something under the back of your head, just a very sort of flat cushion, so your head's not kind of pushed forward too much. We're going to come into a relaxed breath. When we do this breathing technique, if you're just kind of aware of where your diaphragm is, so the lower ribs and that space between, this is where you're kind of breathing into. So when we come to lie down, some people like to bring the hands down by the sides, and for others, it makes it easier to kind of get into this breath if you can rest your hands sort of on the upper belly, lower part of the rib cage. And when we perform this breathing exercise, I don't want you to feel as if you're trying to really kind of push the breath into the body. It's much more relaxed than that. So you're very aware of your breathing, there's control over the breath, but it's a more kind of gentle, mindful way of breathing. So when I say on the inhale, you'll breathe, it's about 3/4 of the way in or 1/3 of the way in. So you're not kind of pushing that breath in, and the same with the exhale. And then we'll count the exhale ends up being a little bit longer. So we're extending the length of the breath, which you know that the inhale is the sympathetic nervous system. The exhalation is the parasympathetic nervous system. So we're extending the length of the breath out so we can get into that, which is a much more kind of relaxed state. We'll come down. If you want to stretch your legs out, then let them stretch out. But I think for most people, it's quite nice to have a little bend in the knees and just allow the knees to kind of knock in towards each other. So if you let your feet go a bit wider than your mat, and then allow the knees to rest against each other. And like I say, just kind of find that place where you want to intuitively kind of bring the hands down by the sides or maybe onto the belly. And either close the eyes and just soften the gaze, so kind of half close the eyes. So we're not going into kind of any stuff that's around us. If the eyes are open, they tend to dart around and we become aware of things that are going on. And take a moment just to allow the body to relax. And that might mean that you just make small adjustments. It could be just making sure there's a little bit of space around the back of the neck, that the jaw isn't tight, you're not holding tension around there, the face, the facial muscles. And just soften the shoulders down away from the neck. And check in, there's no tension held anywhere in the sort of chest or down to the belly, sometimes into the pelvis, pelvic floor. Relax all of those areas. And then just begin, don't change anything with your breathing, just become very aware of the breath. And see if you can shift that awareness to focus in on your breath. So around the upper belly, where the diaphragm is. Don't change anything, but just feel this very kind of subtle rise and fall of the breath. As you breathe in, as you breathe out. Okay, now just begin to deepen the next inhale, and ideally you want to breathe in through the nose. Feel the breath move, so it's going up and down to the belly, but also out, so horizontally out, expanding the lower ribs. And then you might want to breathe out through the mouth for the first few rounds. Maybe let a little sigh out. Sometimes a bit of sound is a really nice way of kind of releasing any sort of built up tension. Do that a couple of times where we gently encourage the breath to go into the body. Again, it's about 3/4 of the way in. And then breathe in and go into the end of the exhale. But again, we're not pushing that breath out of the body. It's much more gentle. And just one more. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. Now, if possible, see if you can just breathe, just using the nose now. We're going to inhale through the nose for 1, 2, 3. And then breathe back out through the nose for 3, 2, 1. We're still very aware of the breath around the diaphragm, so inhaling for 1, 2, 3. Exhale out for 3, 2, 1. Inhale now for 1, 2, 3. Exhale out for 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 1, 2, 3. Exhale out for 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 1, 2, 3. Exhale out for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 1, 2, 3. Exhale out for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last 2 rounds. We're inhaling for 1, 2, 3. Exhale out for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 1, 2, 3. Exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a deep breath in. Again, keep it quite gentle, more of a relaxed breath. Exhale out. Now see if you can stay with that sort of rhythm. So you've counted that breath and you've listened to me kind of encourage you to stay very focused on the breath. And see if you can make it more so that it becomes more natural. So you're still breathing in this manner, but you don't have to kind of think about it, you don't have to count. It's more of a feeling, you're feeling your way into the inhale and the exhale. Just take a few more rounds, your own time. Okay, make this your last one, last round. Okay, when you come to the end of that exhale, just take a deep breath in, breathe all the way, again feel that expanse around the sides of the rib cage as well as the breath going up, and then down to the belly. And then exhale out through the mouth and do a little sigh out. Okay, just allow your knees, so keep your feet nice and wide and let your knees go side to side here. So we just let them drop one way and then the other. Just to release any sort of tension out of the hips, the lower back. We're going to come into Baddha Konasana now. So it might be that you use your bolster or blocks here. When we come into this, the knees and ankles are together and then you allow the knees to drop out. So I wouldn't be able to hold that for a long time without it starting to really kind of ache around my inner thighs, and that I wouldn't, you don't end up feeling not very supported, your knees sort of start to shake a little bit. Okay, so bolster can go like this. If you've got blocks or books, what you do is just sort of wedge them up so they go onto the, just under the knee there, outer thigh. Okay. And you might find as you come into this and you can start to release a bit more tension, that you can begin to move stuff away. Also, if you're really flexible and your knees naturally just drop all the way down to the floor, sometimes when we're holding the posture for a long time, it means that you've gone beyond a kind of, what's it, like a safe range. So it might be that you just prop something up, so you've got a little bit of support, so you're not going beyond that range. Okay. From here, come down onto your back, bring the knees and ankles together, and start from there, and then allow the knees to drop out, and just feel that you've got that little bit of support beneath you. And again, find a place to rest the hands. So down by the sides. You might want to rest them around the inner thighs or maybe onto the belly. And just begin by making any little adjustments. Sometimes even though we think we're relaxed, we're lying on the floor, we're still kind of holding little pockets of tension, and these kind of habitual areas that we all have around the shoulders, around the neck, the jaw again. Okay, and then settle that attention back onto the breath. Just feel that you're breathing again in that very kind of relaxed way. So you don't have to think about the breath too much in a restorative posture, unless your mind kind of really wanders off and the thoughts begin to create some tension, and that tension is then reflected in the breath. And that means sometimes we hold the breath or it becomes a little bit kind of speeded up. I'm going to give you a mantra, and it's a really simple mantra, and you're saying it to yourself, and you're saying it, the mantra, in line with the breath, so it's mirroring each part of your breathing. It's so hum, so the word so, S-O, as you breathe in, you say that word to yourself, and it sounded so it's got quite a sort of uplifting quality to that sound. And then the word hum, H-U-M, as you breathe out. Hum. There's a little bit more of a kind of grounding quality to that on the exhale, that sound. And mantras are really helpful if you do find that your mind is quite busy. If you feel you're easily distracted. If your thoughts sometimes can be intrusive, and use the mantra to remain quite present. It gives the mind something to do. So as you breathe in, hum as you breathe out. Okay, just one more minute here. At any point, if you do need to come out of these, if your body starts to feel uncomfortable, don't stay in that place because it will just stress the nervous system. So if you need to come out anytime, come out and just lie flat on the mat.
Okay, I'm coming, Daddy, anyway. I'm ready. Come on. Let's go get Daddy. Daddy, come on. Is he gonna come out?
Okay, and when you're ready,
When is he gonna come out?
bring that awareness back to your breathing. Yes. You want to send the breath a little bit deeper into the body. Deep breath in. Exhale all the air out. Let your hands drop down to the outer side, so just above where your knees are. And then bring the knees in towards each other, so your feet are stood. Take your feet about mat distance or hip distance apart, and just take a moment there to let everything kind of settle. So the hips to kind of just come back into alignment, the lower back to settle. Sometimes it's nice to take a breath in there. And again, exhale. If you want to let the legs straighten, and again, just come into stillness. It's really nice between these postures just to come into that. Okay, and then we're going to come into a bit of a lateral stretch from here. So you won't need anything for this. So bring your bolster over to one side. We're going to still be lying on the mat, and you're going to come to the right side of the mat. So you're kind of in one big straight line on that right side. And then you're going to walk your feet over towards the bottom left corner. Okay, so as you bring the feet over, make sure that the weight is still quite even to the back of the pelvis, that you're not leaning and rolling onto your left hand side. The back is still down. And we can take the arms up, have a little bit of a stretch, and then lean the arms to the top left corner. And again, the same thing there, but the shoulder blades are still connected to the floor. And just feel this really nice big stretch to the whole right side. Observing there's no kind of over extending around the lower back. If you feel okay and you would like to go a little bit further, you could cross your right ankle over your left. Maybe feel a little bit of a deeper stretch there around the front of the right thigh. You need to get people just for the first few rounds of breath to take, in this case, your left hand and rest it onto the right side of the rib cage, lower ribs again, so just above the waist. And just take a few breaths of it. We deepen the inhale, and again, it's still quite gentle, but you can just feel more of the breath going into that side. So you're very aware of how we kind of use the rib cage and the diaphragm to breathe in this sort of deeper, more controlled manner. And again, come back to the mantra anytime you feel you need to. So as you breathe in, hum as you breathe out. About the last 30 seconds on this side, and then we'll come to the middle and then change. Okay, so slowly making your way back just to lie flat in the middle of the mat, and again, just take your time to come out of these. It's absolutely no rush. You probably don't want to rush anyway, but unravel the legs if you've got them across the ankles. Come back and just lie with the hands down by the sides. Perhaps take the feet as sort of wide apart as the mat. It's in a bit of a star-like shape. Just observe how the body feels, maybe a little bit more kind of openness on this right hand side. Okay, and when you're ready, we'll come to the left side of the mat. Come all the way over. Again, just line that nice big straight line. Walk your feet when you're ready to the bottom right corner, observing that the weight is still quite even for the back of the pelvis, back of the rib cage, and then bring the arms up, big stretch, and reach the arms to the top right corner. You want to take your left ankle over the right. And just always checking in that we're not kind of overextending, especially when we're holding something for a long time. Long held stretches are really good because it really gives you an opportunity to find some stillness and to just stop. When we're moving in a vinyasa class, even though you're quite present at times, there's still movement, isn't there? So we're not. Whereas with this, you really have this opportunity to observe really what's going on with your body, but also mentally, emotionally as well. If there's anywhere where you're pulling and pushing too hard, there's the potential there for injury. So just make sure that you haven't quite gone to that full kind of range and edge. If you want to now bring your right hand to the lower part of the left side of the rib cage, and just take a few breaths so we feel quite connected with the breath on this side. You could take the hand away from the rib cage and just bring it back up above, or keep it where it is. Come back to that mantra, so on the inhale, hum on the exhale. Okay, and last 30 seconds on this side. very slowly again, just bring yourself back to the middle so you can lie flat in the middle of the mat. Just always checking in with the breath. Sometimes I find if I come out of a posture that has really kind of released some tension, I always want to just do that big breath in and that sigh out. It's a real kind of nice way of releasing. And just again observing how your body feels as you come out of that kind of side stretch. Okay, now just let your feet stand again on the mat and allow your knees to come towards each other. So if you have your feet as wide as the mat and a little bit turned, the big toes slightly turned in, just let the knees drop down. Hands are going to be down by your sides now, and your palms are facing up to the ceiling. Now just let your head gently start to roll to the right hand side. It's a really small movement. As you do that, curl the left fingers towards the left palm and just make a little bit of a fist with the hand, breathing in. Imagine you're just breathing more through that right side of the nose, and then exhale, come back to the middle, breathe out through both sides. More kind of mindfully than actually doing it. So you're going to let your head roll to the left as if you're breathing in through the left side of the nose. Bring the right fingers to the right palm. Exhale out through both, bring the head back to center. Inhale, let your head gently roll to the right. Bring the left fingers, just curl them towards the palm. You can always tuck your thumb in first and wrap the fingers around. Breathing in through the right, exhale through both as the head comes back to the middle. Inhale the head to the left, curl the right fingers to the right palm. Make a little fist. Exhale back through center, just one more on each side. Inhale to the right. Head goes to the right. Left fingers curl in. Exhale back to center. Inhale, the head rolls to the left, right fingers curl into the right palm. And then exhale back. Okay, now as you come back to the middle, let your feet just come back to more hip distance on the mat, and then bring the right knee, give it a little hug in. Some of you might want the belt here, so we'll just see how we get on, but you just, for now, bringing the knee towards you and then making little circles around. So 3 or 4 one way, and then change direction. Hands are wrapped around the front of the right shin. Okay, and this left knee, you can have the foot stood and the knee pointed up, or you could just straighten that leg, whatever kind of works. Now let your hands go to the back of that right leg and just stretch it up, point and flex the right foot a few times. If you are going to use your yoga belt or dressing gown belt, whatever you manage to pick up there, you're going to bring that up now, take it more to the heel. So rather than pulling on the arch of the foot where it's less stable, go to the heel and then cross the belt in front so we're really stable there. And then it's really nice to use this because, again, it's not a kind of posture where we're trying to put loads of effort in. So we've got our hands on the belt, we can just relax the shoulders, keep the shoulder blades nice and broad, take a nice deep breath in, and then encourage this leg to come in a little bit closer. It's entirely up to you how far you take that. So as soon as the leg comes past the hip, you'll feel your lower back flattens against the floor. It's a different stretch. You're kind of using your lower back a bit more to stretch there, okay? So if you've got any issues around the lower back, I would keep the leg more in line with the hip or a bit further away, or bend the knee and observe that you have a natural curve, that natural curve that you have in the lumbar spine. And then you could think about maybe, just pressing the heel up, and that'll give you a nice big stretch, probably where you've got tension around the back of the knee joint, hamstring and calf. And find that steady rhythm with the breath, easing your way into this. just about 5 more breaths on this side, and we're going to take a little bit of a twist using the belt, or we could just bend the knee. So 5 more breaths here. And when you're ready, you can either catch hold of the belt with your left hand, bring the right arm out to about shoulder height, palm up or palm down, and then just to let this leg come over to the left. If you've not got a lot of space, or you feel you don't have that kind of range to come over, then you can get rid of the belt and you can just bend that knee so the foot is rested above the left knee, the right foot, and then you bring the knee over with the hand. So I'm using my left hand to bring that right knee over. Also with the hip, because it tends to sort of punch up, just use your hand to roll that right hip down and then ease yourself over. And just go over as far as you feel, you know, again, you get a nice release through the right side of the upper body, going down the right hip, and sometimes with the spinal column can release as well, but don't force anything. Here, working with the breath a little bit and these sort of spinal rotations. So we inhale, and then as you exhale, you just see if you can encourage the leg perhaps to come a bit further over, but keep that right arm and that right side of the chest going towards the floor. We're not lifting now. Okay, and then when you're ready, just slowly come back, take the leg back. You can lie flat on the mat. Just before you do that, as the leg comes back, get rid of the belt if you haven't already, and then hug the right knee in, and then extend that leg to lie flat for a moment. Knees bent or legs straight. You might feel quite a big difference on that right side, around the hip and going down the leg. Might even feel a bit longer. Okay, and then we're going to bring the left knee in, and again you can either standing the foot makes you feel a bit more stable. Leg straight is obviously not. So whichever you prefer, hug the left knee in, and then make those little circles around. Moving around the hip joint, and then change direction. Okay, then we'll take the hands just to the back of the thigh to begin with, and just like pointing and flexing of the left foot. Good. Okay, and then if you want to use the belt, let it get too far away, you're going to bring it round, again, the heel. So more the heel of the foot, it just feels a lot more stable to hold on there. Cross in front. Again, you're really nice and stable. Relax the shoulders. Have that leg either to hip height, knee bent, if you're keeping that nice curve in your lower back, or you could bring that leg a little bit closer, but that is going to really flatten out the lower back. Okay, so whatever you prefer to do, maybe press the heel up there. Just have a look at the leg and notice that it's not kind of turned out. So if the belt is crossed in front of the shin, pull down a bit more with your right hand. holding here for about another 5 breaths before we go into that twist. And we're just going to bring the belt into the right hand. Bring the left arm out to steady yourself, so you're keeping that arm connected to the floor, and allow your left leg to go to the right. And again, that option of just releasing the belt away from the foot, bending the left knee and using the right hand to bring that left knee over to the right. Roll this top left hip down, so you think about creating space on that left side of the waist. Nice big breath in and exhale, come into that rotation there. So feel the lower body's going in one direction, the upper body's going in the other. And when you're ready, deep breath in. Exhale all the air out. Come to lie back, so we're coming back to the middle of the mat. If you want to bring that left knee and give it a little hug in first, so as you come back, hug it in. And then either lie flat or have the knees bent again, so just coming down for a moment. Okay, and then from here, we're going to come up and just come to one side and then bring yourself up. And you're going to need either a bolster or a block for a supportive bridge. So if you're using cushions or bolsters, it's going to be not quite as high. If you're using a block, you know that it's a little bit more sturdy, so you can have a bit more support in terms of going higher, and you know you can have it one way or the other, okay? I'll just show you, when you take this, it wants to be, the bolster kind of covers a bit more area on the back, but if you kind of sit on it first and then ease yourself down, and it wants to be under the sacrum. So my lower back is here, it's more my sort of bottom and sacrum that's on there. So the sacrum's that little hard bone just above your bum, okay? If you're using the block, it depends on, you know, which way you're taking it, but if you're going this way, it feels a bit more kind of stable, I suppose. If you turn it this way, you definitely need to make sure you're in the right place. And sometimes it means, you know, you come onto it and then you just move around a little bit, but it really is that hard bone just above your bum that you rested on. And at any point, you know, if you want to adjust and come a bit lower or go a bit higher, again, make sure you feel quite stable. You have options here to keep your knees bent. You could stretch your legs out. So if you do that, the hip bone here wants to feel like it's sliding down away from you. So we're creating space across the front of the pelvis there, okay? So make sure you're not tightening anywhere around the sort of back of the hips or lower back. Broaden the shoulder blades. Keep a slight lift in the chin. You're not throwing the head back, but just to get enough where you observe that curve under the back of the neck. And again, if your legs are straight and you want to bend your knees, or the other way around. If you want to center straight, just move whenever you need to. Definitely not going to disturb anybody online, so just move if you feel that you want to change your position. Okay, and find a place again to rest the arms, usually down by the sides, which probably work best. You can lift the arms, it can kind of lift you a little bit, so it's a bit more kind of active position when the arms are above the head. But whatever kind of works there, so arms up or arms down. As you lie here, feel that there's a little bit of weight around the points of the body, the back of the body that are resting against the floor. And also that block or bolster that's beneath you, allow that to kind of just support you and take your weight. So let yourself go into that. Find your mind wandering, just simply use the mantra so as you breathe in, as you breathe out. This last few moments here, about 1 minute left. Okay, and when you're ready, just take a deeper breath in. Again, it's just that breath that we feel around the diaphragm, that rise. And exhale softly out. In a moment, we're going to come into a little bit of a deeper back bend. So if you want to just come off your support, it might be that you just push your feet down and lift the pelvis enough to slide the block or the bolster out, and then lie flat again for a moment on your back. Try and avoid the urge to bring, when we come out of these extensions, some people really want to bring the knees in very quickly and go to that counter pose, which is a really nice counter pose to do. But again, it's what we mentioned this morning, your body has that intelligence to kind of find its own way back, and we just need to give it that space and trust that the spinal column, everything will settle from that very kind of, it wasn't a deep extension, so it's more of a lift around the pelvis and a release around the, the front of the pelvis, front of the hips. Let the rib cage, chest lift, expand as you breathe in. And then softly again breathe out. Okay, and then if you want to just bring the knees then in and just give them that little bit of a hug in, we are going to come into another extension. So just maybe arms straight, hands on knees, and go across the lower part of the spine, so across the back of the hips. A really nice little massage. Okay, and then just let yourself come to one side, bring yourself up. It depends on how high you want to go for this one. Okay, so when I set my blocks up for this, I would probably, if I'm using blocks, have one quite high and then one for the back of my head. I might even use that other one actually, because that's probably not high enough. And I'll show you with the cushions and bolster if you've not got these options available. Okay, so we're either here, or you could use a bolster or your cushions, and then have another cushion for your head. So you need two things, okay? And this one needs to go just below the shoulder blades, and the other one is for the back of the head to stop us from really kind of, throwing the head right back. So in this position, you don't want to feel like you're crunching the back of the neck, and the longer your neck is, the more vulnerable it is. So we need that bit of support, okay? So what you'll do, you choose which kind of option you want to come into, and the first support wants to go at the lower part of the shoulder blades. It's entirely up to you how high you want to go to make sure there's not too much of a pull across your lower back, and the back of the head. And with the legs, you can have them straight, you could come into Baddha Konasana maybe with a bit of support, you could have your knees bent. I'm going to bring that up a bit more. Yeah, so just again, not too much of a pull around the lower back, just a really nice lift around the chest, so the sort of mid upper back in the chest, and a bit of space around the back of the neck so we're not throwing the head back. And with the blocks, or if you've got cushions, you should be able to bring the arms down by the sides. If you've got a bolster, it sort of gets in the way a little bit, so it might be that you lift the arms there, but again, just do what works for you with the arms. We just want to feel that you're achieving that slight lift around that mid upper back. And again, that support for the back of the head. And the chest is the rib cage and chest is very open here. The shoulders should feel like they're drawing back. So in theory, we've got all this expanse to kind of breathe into, but if the head is too far back, it makes it, tricky to breathe. You do want to feel like you're getting a bit of an opening around the throat though. So the front of the neck wants to feel like it's getting a little bit of a release. And we're able to kind of get blood, through the tissue there and then open into the chest. And because this is slightly deeper posture that we're going into, and for most of us, tend to, unless you're very bending your back, we tend to struggle a little bit with extensions. And just notice again how this challenges you, what the mind tries to do. And obviously if you're uncomfortable and you need to move, then you definitely move in a restorative posture. But if it's more that you feel you're being pulled out because there's something that's coming up and you don't want to kind of feel your way into that, then just maybe use the mantra, a very kind of open heart here. So that sense of compassion and kindness, whatever it is that wants to come up, and just breathe your way through that. If it gets too much at any point, feel free just to come out and lie flat. It's fine. Whatever you need to do. In a moment we're going to come away from this, so it might be that you stand your feet first. If your legs are straight or in Baddha-Konasana, just let your feet stand. If your arms are lifted, perhaps bring them down now. Just that awareness that we're going to gradually come out of this one. So probably the best way to come out is just to come to one side, and then you can push the blocks out of the way and then come to lie flat again. And again, especially if you were quite high, just give yourself that bit of space to come down and lie flat for a moment. And take a few deep breaths here. When you're ready, just again, if you want to bring the knees in, you can keep the knees in line with the hips, arms straight, rock side to side. We can bring them a little bit closer. We are going to come into a forward bend in a moment, so there will be some flexion through the spine from those extensions. So let's come over to one side. Bring yourself up to a comfortable seated position. Pop yourself onto a cushion or bolster for a moment. We're going to come into a forward bend in a minute, but first of all, just a little bit of pranayama. So make sure you're in a seated position where you're able to sit quite tall. Okay, so we're not, kind of slouched forward. So just a comfortable. If you want to sit on your settees, just do whatever you need to do, but make sure you feel comfortable. Okay. And we'll come into a round of Nadi shoulder there, and then we'll come into a forward bend. Okay, so with this breathing practice, if you've got a cold, if you're very bunged up through the nose, you perhaps won't be able to come into it. So just bring one hand to the chest, one hand to the lower belly, and take deep breaths as best you can. If you're okay, we're going to breathe through one side of the nose, where you're blocking one, and then out through the other, and then we'll alternate that. So one side of the nose and then the other, and then we swap. Within the body, we have the nadis, and the nadis, 72,000 channels, of which we have 3 that we kind of tend to focus on, that sort of main ones, okay? And these are Sushumna nadi, which runs along the spinal column, and then Nidra and Pingala, which run along the left and right sides of the nervous system, spinal column, and then connecting to the brain hemispheres. So Nidra and Pingala stop at Ajna chakra. Sushumna nadi goes right up into the brainstem. The idea that we do this breathing practice is that you will be breathing more through one side of your nose than the other. And this is reflected in the 2 different sides that we have, which being masculine or feminine, and not how we kind of see male or female, but we all have these qualities to our personality. We have a masculine side and we have a feminine side. So you'll be more dominant through one side. You'll notice when you breathe like this, one side is more bunged or blocked up than the other. This breath practice is meant to create a harmony between these 2 sides, to bring, and it's reflected in the brain hemispheres, to bring the sense of balance and clarity and harmony between these 2 sides, okay? So we're going to take your right hand. I'm not mirroring you, so it's your right hand. It looks like my left, but it's your right. Take your index finger and middle finger together, and you can either rest them, just come forward so you can see what I'm doing. Rest them between the brows, or we can tuck them into the palm of the hand like that. Okay, so index finger, middle finger, rested at Ajna chakra, where these 2 sides stop, or connected into the palm. You then left with your thumb to close off the right side of the nose, and your sort of ring finger, little finger maybe to close off the left. So you can just have a little play with that. Where you're pressing is just below the bone, just below the bridge of the nose there, okay? So what we'll do, keep both sides free and just breathe in through both sides. And again, that breath wants to go around the lower sort of lungs, and then exhale. Now close off the right side with the thumb and just breathe in for your left hand side. Close off the left, hold. Now release the thumb and breathe out through the right. Breathe in right. Close, hold both closed. And then breathe out through the left. Inhale left. Close both. And then breathe out right. So if you are experiencing some congestion, just try and breathe through that as best you can, okay? Now breathe in through the right side. Close both sides. And then breathe out through the left. Okay, last go round. Inhale through the left. Close both. Breathe out through the right. Inhale through the right. Close both. And exhale out through the left until there's nothing left. It's a big long exhale. Okay, now take the hand down, palms up or down, or just rest the hands into the lap. Either keep the eyes closed or just cast the gaze sort of down in front of you. So again, we're calming those sort of better waves of the brain. And the eyes are closed. Notice how you feel. Maybe that sense of kind of balance and harmony within. Breathing in now through both sides of the nose, and then right up into the bridge of the nose, and then exhale in. Back out through both sides of the nose. And just do that 2 more times. Okay, and then when you come to the end of exhale, let your eyes blink open for a moment. We're going to come into a forward fold now, which again, it brings you forward and it's kind of very relaxing. Also want you to use something where you can rest this space between the brows, the space between the eyebrows and the forehead. So this Ajna chakra here connects to the pineal gland, and this is, obviously that's much deeper into the brain, but it connects into there. And it's said, this pineal gland is what releases melatonin, which obviously helps us go into a sleep state. Okay, so it's very relaxing to have the head connected onto something. What you'll do, we're going to come into Tadasana, so you've got quite a distance between the feet and the pelvis. Your knees are out to the side, you're getting a little bit of an external rotation. I take a bolster because I know I can get down and I can rest my head onto that. Obviously that's not going to work for everyone, so you could turn your bolster, you know, this way and have your head down. If you've got any back problems, it might be that flexion like that just it exposes the disc too much, and when you're holding it for a long time, it's not going to work for you if you've got back issues like that. Okay, so I would sit more upright and just let your head come into that. Okay, and then at any point when you feel that that's a bit of enough, you can come and lie down. You could take a block. Some people like to take a block. Oh, the other thing you can do, so many choices, but you can create a bit of a sort of, you know, like that, so it's a bit higher. So you could stack a couple of blocks like that. And then you've got, it's elevated slightly, and then we can come down. Okay, so whatever you've got handy, you can always create a bit of distance between the feet, so you're not rested on your feet if you're there. And if that doesn't work, legs can come out, you know, in that position. Okay, so lots and lots of options. If you can just rest the head. So also just, you know, the weight of the head's quite heavy, so we're just releasing around the back of the neck, the shoulders. Okay, and become aware of the element of space. So Akash is space, and however you see that, I tend to see the kind of inner space, sky at night, and lots of stars, but however you kind of want to visualize space. And see that you're gazing into that kind of vastness. Feel that kind of fills the mind. Also that feeling that the body is made of space. Within the cells, there's lots and lots of space. In that atom in the cell, there's vast amounts of space. So we're just full. That is what we're filled with. And then considering the space that you're occupying with your body, the breath, I feel that you just give yourself over to this forward fold. If our minds are quite busy, these postures, even though they're incredibly relaxing, some people just drop straight into them. And for others, it's a little bit of an internal battle to kind of really fully switch off. I feel that you're leaning into this. The weight of the head is coming forward. Feel the breath more around the back of the body. That sense of gravity on the body.
embraces us, and we embrace nature. We are nature. We are the trees and the clouds and the waters. When you hug a tree, you're hugging yourself. We are human beings. Human beings are part of nature. When you're seeing the ocean or the lake or the river, you're seeing yourself. Nature is a manifestation of God. In that manifestation is love all the way.
Okay, so when you're ready, take a deep breath in. We're going to start to make our way out of this one. So inhale, exhale. I know I feel a bit spacey when I come out of these, so just take your time to let yourself come back up. Maybe just draw navel to spine so we kind of lift a bit from the belly. And then bring yourself up and then take your hands just a little bit away behind you. We'll just take the feet about mat distance apart and then let your knees drop side to side. We're going to come down now and I'll talk you through a guided yoga nidra. So if you want to put socks or a top or anything on, or grab yourself a blanket, do that. Okay, and then just come down to lie flat. And again, if you want something under the back of the head, just quite a flat cushion. And get yourselves into a suitable, comfortable relaxation position. Try not to cross the ankles. So if you can, take your feet, if your legs are straight, take your feet nice and wide. If you prefer to have your feet the width apart of the mat again, just let the knees drop together, or put a bolster or cushions under the back of your knees if that works a bit better for your lower back. And see if you can find quite an open, sort of receptive position to come into. So that is that the body is kind of nice and open, the palms are up. And you're very kind of open to receive the healing benefits of Yoga Nidra. Okay, now if you fall asleep, that's okay. It probably just means you're really tired and you need to go to sleep, and that's fine. Okay. Now you will hear my voice a bit as you move through this. And the idea is that you do stay with my voice, so you're quite present, but you're relaxed. Okay, so making any adjustments that you need to, just feel your way into your body, and it is quite relaxed and sort of heavy on the floor. And let go of any urge to want to control your breathing. Let go of that mantra that we were using through the practice. And we'll make this Yoga Nidra quite a healing practice. So visualize a golden or a white light. And it's a very healing light. And as I name the different kind of points in your body, I want you to feel that you're shining that light into those places, and it is having that kind of healing effect, and also that you're relaxing those different parts that we travel through. We'll begin that practice. Bring your awareness to your right hand thumb. You shine that light. Relax the right hand thumb. The second finger, the third finger, the fourth finger, and the little finger. Soften the palm of the hand, the back of the hand, the wrist, the forearm, the elbow, the upper arm, and the right shoulder. Relax the right arm. And bring that awareness to the right side of the rib cage. You can shine that light down the right side of the ribs, the waist, the right hip, the right thigh, knee, shin, right ankle, top of the foot, sole of the foot. Shine that light to the right big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and little toe. Relax the right side of the body. Feel the heaviness to that side. Now bring that awareness and that light, golden or white light, to the left hand thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, and little finger. Palm of the hand, the back of the hand, the left wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm, and the left shoulder. Left side of the rib cage, waist, left hip, the left thigh, knee, shin, ankle, top of the foot, sole of the foot, left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and little toe. Relax the left side of the body, and again feel that sense of heaviness, relaxation sweep through that side of the body. And bring your awareness to the back of the body and all the points you can feel against the floor, against the ground. Relaxing and bringing that awareness, that attention to the right heel, left heel, right calf, left calf, back of the right knee, left knee, back of the right thigh, left thigh, back of the right hip, left hip. Soften across the lower back, the mid back, the right shoulder blade, the left shoulder blade across the upper back, the back of the neck, back of the head. And the back of the body over to that support that's beneath it. And let yourself go a little bit further into that support, feeling held, safe, secure. Now bring that light to the very top of the head, crown of the head. And let it cascade down, as if it's washing through you. And kind of radiant, again, healing light that you're bathing in that light. It moves from the top of the head, across the brows, the right brow, the left brow, space between the brows, down the nose, the right cheek, the left cheek, right side of the jaw, left side of the jaw. Relax the mouth, so let the tongue go sort of heavy in the base of the mouth. teeth separated. Relax the throat, the right collarbone, the left collarbone, space between the collarbone. Keep shining that light down through the rib cage and chest, the upper belly. Soften the upper belly, the lower belly, and down into the pelvic floor, the pelvis. Soften all the way down. Allow the whole entire body to rest. And visualizing that light as it moves through the right side of the body, the left side of the body. From the soles of the feet to the crown of the head, and from the crown of the head to the soles of the feet. And then feel as if that light expands out. It begins to create a circle of light around you. Again, the sense of it being a healing, protective light. So again, if you can stay quite present, the visualization of that light as it moves through the body, breath. There's that sense of watching the breath. A very gentle kind of ebb and flow, rise and fall. As you feel your way into the sensations of the breath, just begin to direct that flow. As we inhale, you feel that you're breathing from the bottom of the spine, down a little bit further, more into the pelvic floor, and then all the way up the spinal column to the top of the head. And then as you feel the exhalation begin to leave, feel that move from the top of the head, the crown of the head, and it travels down. And you feel that descent right down to the base of the spine, or right down to the pelvic floor. And then we inhale, we feel that lift and that ascension from the pelvis to the top of the head. You can always take a little pause, there's no rush. And then exhale from the top of the head and going down. And keep going. Just a few more rounds where you feel that you are moving that flow of breath, going up on the inhale and then down on the exhale. Okay, just allow your mind to mirror that flow, conscious mind. So as you inhale, feel that sense of possibility, potential. As you exhale, release anything that you feel that you want to let go of, you want to dissolve. So we kind of lead into the exhale and we feel that sense of releasing. As you inhale, have that awareness that our natural state is one of calm, inner peace. As you exhale, releasing anything that you feel is something that you're holding on to that's not your natural state. So that could be fear, anxiety, overwhelm. And just keep going with that. A few more rounds. Breathing into possibility, potential to be who you truly are supposed to be. And then as you exhale, anything that doesn't kind of fit with that. Okay, and eventually just letting go of that process. Enjoying these last few moments of stillness. And give yourself over to these last few moments. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. Remain quite still. Just bring your awareness back to your senses. And that could be the sense of touch. It could be the clothes that you can feel against your skin or the weight of your body against the floor. It could be the sense of sound that you can hear near and far. It could be smell, taste. Even if your eyes are closed, sometimes we have images or we see colours. And sensations in the body, so that might be the breath. sensations sometimes in the belly that we can feel. Okay, and then bring a little bit of movement in when you're ready, and that might be that you just deepen the breath. And exhaling all the way out, or you might create a little bit of movement through the fingers or the toes. Just that awareness that your practice of Yoga Nidra has come to an end. And slowly bringing yourself back into the space that you're in, back into your body. If you want to take bigger movements, move through the joints, so that could be the ankles, the wrists, you could move the shoulders a bit, you could swallow, open the mouth, and swallow around the jaw, let your head go side to side. And if you want to take a stretch, whenever you feel ready, just maybe bring the arms up and have a nice big stretch. There's no rush here, so what would be nice is if you kind of just come out of the stretch, bring the knees in, rock a bit, and then let yourself come to one side and just lie on that side for a moment. And just give yourself again that bit of space before you come out. And even if you know you've got things to do, just that awareness that everything can wait just for a moment. There's nothing that you need to do right now. Okay, and then very slowly from there, bring yourself up to a comfortable seated position. Okay. And we're going to bring the hands, so you're going to join the palms of the hands together. You can have the eyes closed and just create a little bit of heat. So you're going to rub the hands together and create a bit of heat. Eyes closed. Once you feel you've got enough heat, it takes me ages because my hands are really cold. Once you've got enough heat, you're going to take that and place it over the closed eyes. So you just bow the chin a little bit towards the chest. And just take that heat over the closed eyelids. You can always make little circles around if your eyes feel a bit tired. Pressing in lightly, so don't push too hard here. Okay, and then slide the hands down so it's more that the fingers are covering where the eyes are. And then spread the fingers a little bit wider so there's a bit of a gap between them. Allow the eyes just to blink a few times open. Okay, and then keeping that gaze slightly cast down, bring the hands down towards the heart. So they come into a little prayer position. You're looking towards the palms of the hands. And just take that moment to give thanks. So we give thanks for our practice. We give thanks for the teachings that have been passed down for thousands of years. And they keep being passed on. You give thanks to yourself also for carving this time out in your kind of busy lives. You've done something, know that you've done something wonderful for yourselves. And that's kind of on every level. And that's coming back to that kind of inner guide, inner guru, inner teacher that we all have within. Okay, and then take a deep breath in. Exhale the air out. Okay, and then allow the eyes just to blink open if you close them again there. Bringing that gaze forward, and namaste everyone. Thank you. Okay, thanks a lot. I'm just gonna come and take this off record. So